Assalamu alaikum, friends. Friends, today we are going to read the story of a 12-year-old girl's life. How a 12-year-old girl found a newborn baby in the washroom, and what happened to the girl inside the washroom, and where did this newborn baby come from? You will find out in this video, so watch this video till the end. If you like the video, do give it a like. And if you are new to the channel, subscribe and click on the bell icon as well. So, let's begin. Friends, I had sent my daughter to school even after going against my in-laws and even my relatives. They were all against Sabia's education. But for quite some time, Sabia's behavior had become very strange. All day I would hear harsh words from everyone, yet I used to send her to school daily. I worked hard so I could manage my daughter's expenses. But today she showed me something that left me completely speechless. She was sitting with that item in her hand after returning from school. The way she was sitting in front of me, it felt like she had brought home the World Cup. And I was supposed to praise her for it. I asked her, "What kind of things are you doing at school?" She said she was doing nothing. But her behavior didn't feel right to me. The situation was such that I couldn't even tell anyone anything. One day, without telling her, I went to her school. Then I found out what she was doing at school. I didn't have the courage to go forward. But what I saw with my own eyes was enough to make me lose all sense. Because my daughter was My name is Sabrina. I used to be very beautiful in my youth. So beautiful that when my husband came to see me, he said in front of everyone that he didn't want any dowry. He just wanted to marry me. He was my cousin, but a distant one. We got married, and I came to my in-laws' house. But my mother-in-law never forgave me, because I didn't bring anything from my parents' home. My parents didn't give me anything, whereas they had given something or the other to my other sisters. They told me, "Since your husband himself said no, why would we give anything?" My husband had said he would earn everything himself and give it to me, but the situation turned out such that he couldn't do anything. Allah Ta'ala blessed me with a son who is now 17 years old. He used to work in another city with his father. After the son, Allah Ta'ala also gave me a daughter. She too started growing up gradually. When she was in 5th grade, my mother-in-law, my brother-in-law's wives, and my elder brother-in-law's wives, they all told me, "Don't let her study any further. Instead, teach her housework. She's growing up now. You'll have to marry her off in a few days." But I wanted my daughter to at least complete her honors. Nowadays, who even values just a 5th grade pass? That's why I got her admitted to high school. She also wanted to study, and she was very interested in learning. But there was no government school in our village. In government schools, a lot of students study, and there's a lot of space. Here someone had started a kindergarten high school, where not many girls studied. There was also limited space. Because in our village, people don't let their daughters study too far. I told the school authorities, "My financial condition is not that good. Can you lower the fees a little?" The principal of the school was also a woman. She said, "I am helpless too, sister. Otherwise, I would have helped you. I have to pay rent for this building. Alongside that, the electricity bill too." I understood her situation and said, "All right, I'll manage it somehow." As my daughter grew older, her school expenses also increased. So besides doing household chores every day, I used to sit at the sewing machine in the evening. I used to sew mattress and quilt covers. I couldn't sew clothes, but I could do this job. It was very difficult and time-consuming. Still, I used to earn just enough money to pay for my daughter's school expenses. I had to pay for all her books, notebooks, pencils, erasers, pens, everything. Even my husband didn't give any money. He used to say, "If you want to educate your daughter, do it with your own money." He only cared about money, and he didn't care at all whether our daughter studied or not. I was going against everyone to educate my daughter. Sewing quilts and mattresses would make my hands numb. I was in a lot of pain. At night, even in my sleep, I used to toss and turn because my whole body would ache. I would do household chores, along with all the work for my in-laws, and also my own work. I had to do everything for my children, too. Sewing Sabiha's clothes, cooking for her, packing her tiffin, waking her up in the morning and sending her to school, everything. Everyone used to say that I had written pain into my own destiny. They used to say, "Teach your daughter housework so she can help you. Why are you sending her to school? That's why you have to suffer so much." Once I had to pay my daughter's school fees, but I still hadn't saved enough money. Already 7 days of the month had passed. I was very worried. The principal madam said, "All right, we are waiving this month's fee for your daughter, but next month you will have to pay for both months together." Soon the next month arrived, and 8 days of that month had passed as well. I didn't have any money. My daughter's school fee for 2 months was 4,000 taka. Besides that, there were some additional expenses. I needed 5,000 taka. But where would I get this 5,000 taka? I told my husband. He told me, "I've already told you I won't give a single penny." I said, "Even if not for Sabiha, then give it for my own expenses." He said, "I don't even have enough money to give you right now. You have to be patient." I had thought if my husband gave me some money, I would pay Sabiha's school fee. I wouldn't make any clothes this month, but he didn't give me any money. Sabiha came home from school. She looked very worried too. She went to her room. When I went to clean her room in the afternoon, I lifted the pillow, and while dusting the bed, I was shocked. Under the pillow there was 5,000 taka. I thought to myself, where did this money come from? Did Sabiha's father leave it here? Maybe he realized his mistake. Just then I overheard a conversation between my mother-in-law and my husband. He was sitting outside talking to his mother. He said, "You know, Ma, today she asked me for money to pay the daughter's school fee. I didn't give her even a penny." And my mother-in-law said, "You did absolutely right. Don't give your wife even a penny. If there's no money, she'll stop sending the girl to school on her own. There's so much work in the house. The women in the house have to do so much every day. If the girl helped a little with the housework, others would get some relief. Your wife has lost her mind." My husband said, "I can't stop her, but if I don't give her money, she'll give up on her own." Hearing their conversation, I realized my husband didn't keep the money. Then who kept the money? The next day the same thing happened again. There was another 5,000 taka under my pillow. I hadn't even spent the previous money yet. I was worried, but I really needed the money. I gave the money to my daughter and said, "Go pay the school fee. Also repay the money you borrowed for the books, and buy something for yourself to eat." She said, "Okay, Ma." Sabiha was very happy. She was about to leave with the money, but then came back, hugged me, and said, "Ma, I love you so much." I said, "I love you so much too, Ma. You are my everything. I have another son too, but I love you more. Do you know why? Because I see myself in you. Everything I never had in life, I want to give to you. I will educate you. I will fulfill your little dreams." She said, "Amu, I will help you too. I can help you." Hearing Sabiha's words, I was surprised. Why was she saying that? How could she help me? Anyway, I thought maybe she said it out of too much emotion. I said, "Daughters are a mother's best friend." She left for school. I thanked Allah that no matter how, but my need was fulfilled. But what worried me was where this money was coming from. There was no one in this house who would help me. I had an elder brother-in-law who used to look at me inappropriately, because among all the daughters-in-law in the house, I was the most beautiful. When I first came to this house after marriage, he would often praise me excessively. I thought maybe that's just how his nature was. Maybe he praises everyone like this. But later I realized that wasn't the case at all. He behaved so warmly only with me. Then this matter reached my husband's ears. My husband told me, "Don't even greet him with salam. He always tries to get close to pretty women, because his own wife is ugly." Since then, I kept my distance from that brother-in-law. Sometimes he would speak in my favor. I wondered if maybe he was the one doing this. But he wasn't that good a person to give me 10,000 taka. He doesn't even give money to his own wife, so how would he give it to me? His mind was always filled with bad intentions for me, never anything good. Then who was doing all this? On the third day, I was surprised again, because that day too I found 5,000 taka under my pillow. This time I started keeping an eye on my room, because someone or the other was coming in and placing the money there every day. I did all my chores sitting in front of my room the entire day. I washed the dishes outside and the laundry too. Only my daughter went into my room, and that too after coming back from school, because her clothes were in my room. No one else had gone in the entire day. Then in the evening, I saw 5,000 taka under my pillow again. That means it was Sabiha who was keeping the money. But where was my daughter getting so much money from? Was my daughter stealing? Because such a large amount of money could only be arranged by stealing. I became very worried. I had tried to raise her with such good values. Was she stepping onto the wrong path? One day I lovingly sat her down beside me and asked, "Mamini, are you the one who puts money under my pillow every day?" I could tell just by looking at her face that it was her. She said, "Yes, Amu, I do." I asked, "Why do you do that?" She said, "Mahantikig, to help you, Amu." I asked, "But where do you get this money from?" She said, "I earned it myself." I asked, "But how do you earn money?" She said, "That I can't tell you, but this money is earned by me. This is money I have earned." My daughter was growing up day by day and becoming more beautiful too. She was simple, but not foolish. She understood more than her age, because in this house she had seen her mother getting beaten by her father. She had seen her mother being scolded by her grandmother. There was no childishness left in her. And I also knew that earning money is not so easy. And this was 5,000 taka every day. I said, "Look, Sabiha, listen to me carefully. These 5,000, you..." But my words got stuck in my throat. My husband walked into the room. He said, "What are mother and daughter talking about 5,000 taka for?" I immediately changed the topic and said, "We need 5,000 taka. Can you give it?" I was burning with anger toward him. My husband said, "I don't even have 5 taka." Saying this, he lay down on the bed. My words remained incomplete. Sabia was about to say something. I gestured for her not to. I didn't want my husband to know about this, because if he found out, a huge storm would break out in my life. He would go and tell my mother-in-law right away, and she would spread it throughout the village. At first, I myself just wanted to know what the real story was. This incident was undoubtedly very strange. My daughter goes to school every day and brings back 5,000 taka daily. What kind of work does she do at school? One day, without informing her, I went to her school. I didn't want to directly ask the principal how my daughter was earning 5,000 taka every day from school. I asked the principal, "Madam, is everything going well? Does Sabiha study properly? How is her behavior? Is she polite at school? Does she cause any trouble?" I asked these questions because if there was anything unusual, the principal madam would tell me in her answers. But she said, "Yes, everything is fine. Your daughter is very good at studies. Her behavior with everyone is as good as always. Her character is good. She's friendly with everyone. And she behaves well with the teachers too." That meant the principal madam didn't know either where my daughter was getting the money from. This money matter became an even bigger concern for me the day my husband saw that money. He told me, "You already have so much money yourself. Then why do you ask me for money?" I got even more worried. That money became even more painful for me. Now I had to keep telling one lie after another. I said, "This is the money I've saved." Sabia's school fees haven't been paid for the last 3 months. This is for her school fees. My husband said her school fees will be managed. Besides, the principal is your friend. I said, "She is not my friend at all. Yes, she lives in this village, but she's not anyone's friend here. Please return my money." My husband put the money into his own pocket. He said, "I need the money now. I'll return it to you later." I knew I would never get that money back again. But whatever was happening, it was all way too strange. My husband always treated me like this. There was another thing I found out about my husband, which I had buried deep inside myself. I never told anyone. That very husband who had once gone crazy over my beauty and had even refused dowry, why had he become so indifferent toward me? The real reason was, he had secretly married a second time, and that too in another village. He often went there. He provided for his second wife. I even found out that his second wife had a son, and my husband was the one who bore all the expenses, and he stayed happily with them. My mother-in-law already knew about all this, but she never mentioned it in front of anyone in the house. She would just give me a strange, wicked smile, as if she knew the ground had already been pulled out from beneath my feet. From the day I came to know this truth, my entire world became just my daughter. Even my son danced to my husband's tunes. He didn't treat me well either. He often visited his stepmother's house too. My husband had completely turned my son against me. Now in this whole world, if there was anyone I could call my own, it was my daughter. But nowadays I was very worried about Tasbih. This is a village. Even the smallest of things spreads very quickly here. That's why I had to think carefully and take every step with caution. One day, again without informing Tasbih, I went to her school. I thought I'd go and see what exactly my daughter was doing at school, because she was earning money from there. But what I found out at school shocked me, because my daughter wasn't even at school. I knew her friend Maisha very well. I asked her, "Where is Tasbih?" She said, "I don't know, Auntie." There was still some time left before school ended. I asked, "Is she not at school at this time every day?" Maisha said, "The madam who takes our last class has taken a 3-month leave. So we don't have the last class. During that time, we just sit in class and study by ourselves. Madam has given us lessons, and Tasbih isn't in class during the last period." I asked her, "Have you told this to anyone else?" She said, "No, I haven't told anyone. Tasbih told me not to tell, but she goes somewhere during the last period." I asked, "Then where is she now?" Misha said, "That I don't know, Auntie." I became extremely worried. Where was my daughter? Where should I look for her now? But Maisha said, "Tasbih comes back during the school dismissal. You should wait for her at school. She comes back and goes home with us every day." My daughter used to return home from school with her friends. I thought if I stayed at school till dismissal, Tasbih would find out that I had come looking for her. I decided to go back home instead. I told Misha not to tell Tasbih that I had come to school. I returned home. As usual, during school dismissal time, my daughter came back home. She came home and handed me 5,000 taka. She told me, "Mom, you said not to keep money under the pillow. If you keep money under the pillow, Dad sees it. That's why I'm giving this money directly to you." I looked at my daughter attentively. She asked me, "What's wrong, Mom?" I said, "Nothing." The next day, I went to Sabia's school again. But this time I went a bit earlier. As soon as the bell rang for the last period, I saw my daughter crossing the broken wall at the back of the school and leaving. Doubt started to build in my mind. What kind of work was my daughter actually doing? Where was she going from school, and why? She shares everything with me. Then why didn't she tell me about this? I started to follow her. She kept walking and walking. When she got a bit ahead, me hands and feet started to tremble, because the house she was going to, we all knew very well about that house. In fact, the entire village knew about it, and if anyone ever saw my daughter going to that house, rumors about her would spread throughout the village. No one in the village would marry my daughter, because the people who lived in that house, we knew them very well. They were none other than the Hijras, transgender people who lived there. They used to go from village to village singing and dancing. They were called during childbirth ceremonies. No one ever went to the Hijras' house. No one maintained any relationship with them. Every day they would get dressed and go out for mudra performances. And what was my daughter doing in their house? What work did she have there? I thought for a moment, should I go inside? Or should I tell Sabia's father first? But if I had told her father, he wouldn't have hesitated to even hit my mother, and he would have stopped her education too. That's why I stepped forward myself. My daughter had already gone inside. She used to spend a total of 2 hours at that house, combining the last period and school dismissal time. Her bag was also with her. I knocked on the door from outside. A Hijra came out. She immediately recognized me. I pushed her and went inside. And what I saw inside, I was not at all ready to see that. My daughter was sitting there. She was shocked to see me. I said, "What are you doing here?" "Tell me, what are you doing? Why are you sitting in the house of the Hijras? What work do you have here? Didn't I tell you that if you ever do anything wrong or disgrace me, I would never forgive you? I fight with everyone for your sake. Your father has never stood by me. He never speaks for us. If any misfortune ever falls on us, everyone from your father's side would clap their hands. What are you doing here?" I started to hit my daughter. The leader of the Hijras held my hand. I pulled my hand away. I said, "What are you doing with my daughter?" Then she said something that brought tears to my eyes, and I sat down on the ground as if my soul had left my body. I looked at my daughter. She was crying too. The leader said to me, "Your daughter came here to work. One day she came and said she wanted to work at our house. She would clean our home, cook, and do all the chores. Such an innocent little girl. We're not as bad as people think we are. If we wanted, we could have made your daughter do all our household work. But we asked her, 'Why do you want to do this job?' Because we knew you. We knew she was your daughter. She said, 'My mother works very hard for me. She's always worried, always tired from working all day. At night when everyone is asleep, my mother groans in pain from her aching body. But the next day she starts working again. That's why I want to help my mother.' Our house is quite big, and we did need a housemaid. Actually, the woman who used to work here had left the job and joined your daughter's school as a staff. One day, at school, your daughter must have overheard her telling someone, 'I used to work at the Hijra's house.' The pay was quite good. But I don't want to work at that kind of people's house, not because they are bad people, but just because. Somehow your daughter heard her and came to us for work. We told her, we don't have any work to give you, but if you need some money, we will give it to you. But she said she wants to earn money by working hard. That's why we made her work for a few days, and that too only sweeping the floor. Then one day we found out that she can do makeup beautifully. We ourselves taught her a little. We explained to her which product to apply first and which one later. We believe your daughter has a natural talent in her hands. She can use a makeup brush so wonderfully, just like an expert artist gently painting on paper with delicate strokes. This is not an easy task. If she were to draw pictures, she would draw them beautifully. And makeup is a kind of painting too. She does all our makeup, and she does it very beautifully. By then, we are ready and go out. Then we have work all night. So, within 2 hours, by giving 15 minutes to each of us, she does the makeup and gets us ready. And she works very fast. If we had gone to a makeup parlor, it would have cost at least 2,000 to 3,000 taka for each person, or maybe even more. So we give Sabia 5,000 taka every day. She becomes happy, and our work gets done too. The money we earn is not haram for us, because it is Allah Ta'ala who created us this way. People do not give us jobs anywhere. So whatever we do is our hard work, our source of income. We earn money through labor. Haram income is what comes without any hard work. But we work hard day and night. Then how can the money your daughter earns from here be haram? She works to earn that money. I looked at my daughter in amazement. My little girl, my innocent fairy. How did she think this far? How did this thought come to her mind? How did this desire arise? And Allah Ta'ala has given her a talent. She showed the application of her own talent. And she earned so much money. They told me, never raise your hand on your daughter. Your daughter is very soft-hearted. Only the lucky ones get a child like her. I pulled my daughter close and hugged her. I wiped away her tears. She was crying as if she had committed a great sin. I gently told her, Mamoni, you've done nothing wrong. You felt your mother's pain. You understood the pain of the person whose own parents never understood it. Even her husband didn't. And the in-laws? They never did. But today my daughter understood my pain. That is the greatest achievement of my life. I told them, if the villagers find out about this, things will get very bad. They told me, no one will ever find out about this. You just say she's going for tuition and send her to us. We'll make sure she gets home safely. And we'll also bring her ourselves. No one will ever know. And this way, her school expenses will also be covered. I said, all right, I'll do that. Because my daughter wants to do this to help me, and it's not much trouble in just 2 hours. Now, my daughter did that job, and I told everyone at home that she was going to tuition. I also worked on the sewing machine. I had money with me. With that money, I would buy necessary things for ourselves, make clothes. I had found out about my husband's second marriage. When I fought with him about it, he left us and went to his second wife. A few days later, my son came back. Because a stepmother is a stepmother after all. I knew about my husband's second marriage from the beginning, but I remained silent. Now even all the family members knew. They used to gossip a lot. But what difference did it make to my husband? He went to his second wife forever. I told my son everything. Even he had no objection about his sister's artistic work. Now the three of us supported each other, and we lived in our in-laws' house. Slowly we saved up a good amount of money. We moved to a separate house, and we started living there. 2 great sorrows left my life. This pain will always stay in my heart that my husband left for another woman. But maybe that was best for him. Now everything to me is my children, and I'm spending my life with them. Thanks to Allah that everything is going well. Life is going smoothly. I have no more worries. I just want to see a bright future for my children. And one day I surely will, inshallah. If you like this story, please give the video a like. And to hear more such inspiring stories, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you for staying with us till the end. We'll meet again in the next video. Until then, Allah Hafez.